The shopkeeper was engrossed in watching the news on TV, which highlighted a surge in tourist numbers along the west coast shoreline. However, a shadow cast a grim tone on the otherwise vibrant scene, as reports detailed the mysterious disappearance of 2 college students. Despite 30 days of relentless police efforts, there was no trace of the missing students. The shopkeeper, now visibly disturbed by the unsettling news, couldn't help but express frustration, questioning how he could sustain his business amidst the unsettling backdrop of people vanishing without a trace. In the midst of escalating concerns, the news broadcast delved further into darker territory, discussing recent murder cases that had gripped the community. Adding to the unfolding drama, the spotlight shifted to the world of music, revealing that the acclaimed artist Mr. J, currently under investigation for alleged drug use, had mysteriously gone missing. Rumors circulated that the boy band member had been introduced to a dubious dealer during a lavish boat party last year, raising eyebrows and deepening the intrigue surrounding the unfolding investigation. Frustration and anger welled up within the shopkeeper as he processed the barrage of disheartening news. Venting his exasperation, he exclaimed, "If I didn't know any better, I'd think they were handing out awards for being junkie singers. I swear, watching the damn news these days just makes your blood boil." His discontent echoed the sentiment of many grappling with the unsettling state of affairs in the country. Amidst the shopkeeper's vexation, a guy wearing a cap sat peacefully behind him, engrossed in his meal. Curious about his take on the distressing news, the shopkeeper inquired, "What are your thoughts on all this?" Unfazed, the guy continued eating, casting a nonchalant glance and coldly replied, "Yeah, whatever." It was evident that, at least for him, the turmoil in the news held little significance in that moment. As the guy finished his meal, he casually dropped money on the table, expressing gratitude to the shopkeeper for the food. As he prepared to leave, the shopkeeper called out, "Hey, don't forget your change." Unfazed, the guy turned around and, with a stoic expression, uttered, "Keep the change." Suddenly, a chill swept through the air as the shopkeeper, attempting to recall where he had seen the guy before, innocently mentioned, "I've seen you somewhere." In an unexpected turn of events, the guy swiftly approached the shopkeeper, locking eyes with him in a menacing stare. The shopkeeper, now gripped with fear, stammered as he realized the gravity of the situation, and the color drained from his face. Jin Hyuk Song jolted awake, panic etched across his face as the remnants of a nightmare lingered in his mind. Confusion gripped him as he surveyed his surroundings, attempting to discern where he was. Stepping outside, he encountered a lady diligently cleaning the floor, but the sight sent shivers down his spine. The floor bore an unsettling red hue, resembling blood. Turning around, the lady, dressed in somber black, greeted Jin Hyuk Song with a smile, relieved that he had finally awakened. Still disoriented, he questioned his whereabouts, prompting the lady to explain that he was at home. She revealed that his daughter had found him outside and brought him inside. Baffled and still haunted by the fragments of his memory, Jin Hyuk Song recounted a vague recollection of a boat accident at sea. The details eluded him, leaving him in a state of uncertainty about the events leading up to his unsettling awakening. The lady, maintaining her composure, responded with a hint of concern, "Oh dear, I see. I thought it was strange that we had a guest, given that we didn't have any reservations for today." Amidst the peculiar atmosphere, the lady informed Jin Hyuk Song that his breakfast was ready, emphasizing the scarcity of resources on the secluded island. Curiosity overcoming him, he inquired about the island's location, his eyes lingering on the blood-like color beneath the lady's feet. Sensing his discomfort, the lady suggested he put on some clothes. Feeling a tinge of shyness, Jin Hyuk Song apologized, but the lady responded with warmth, saying, "There's no need to be sorry. Please wait in your room. I'll bring you some clothes." In the next scene, Jin Hyuk Song finds himself deep in contemplation, trying to make sense of the mysterious circumstances surrounding him. Lost in thought, he ponders the peculiar events that led him to this unfamiliar island. Suddenly, a gentle knock on his door interrupts his reflections. As the door swings open, a vision of beauty steps into the room. The girl, named Romy, enters with a warm smile, holding a set of clothes for Jin Hyuk-song. His attention momentarily shifts as he appreciates her beauty, and a thought crosses his mind. Caught off guard by Romi's question about why he was staring, Jin Hyuk-song, feeling a bit nervous, responded, "I was just looking." Romi, however, sensed a deeper mystery and inquired about his name. Jin Hyuk-song, genuinely unaware due to his amnesia, admitted that he didn't know his own name. This revelation left Romi both surprised and amused. She couldn't help but burst into laughter at the irony of the situation, finding it hard to believe that someone could forget their own name. Amidst her laughter, Romi inquired about his memories, making Jin Hyuk-song even more uneasy. The realization of his amnesia dawned upon him, and he confessed not only did he not know his name, but he also had no recollection of where he was. The awkwardness of the situation lingered, with Romi's laughter echoing in the room, and Jin Hyuk-song feeling a mix of nervousness and confusion in the face of his forgotten identity. Curiosity guiding his words, Jin Hyuk-song questioned Romi about the location of the island. Eagerly, he responded with a hopeful yes when Romi asked if he really wanted to know. Intrigued by his curiosity, Romi probed further, asking why he was so keen on knowing their location. As the conversation unfolded, three figures lingered outside, observing the exchange. Romi, adopting a cold demeanor, finally responded, "You are at your home." The next day, everyone gathers at the dining table for prayers, including Jin Hyuk-song. A man with glasses, hopeful about Jin Hyuk-song's approval of the food, expresses his anticipation. Jin Hyuk-song graciously thanks them, acknowledging the generosity. When asked about his injury, he assures the men that he's okay, praising their bravery. As Jin Hyuk-song indulges in the delicious meal, he finds the flavors pleasing. The lady, satisfied with his response, affectionately pats him on the head and inquires about his enjoyment of the food. Jin Hyuk-song commends her culinary skills, but his frustration grows as the lady lingers. He becomes increasingly nervous, wondering why she is still there and what more she might want to hear. Jin Hyuk-song proceeds to express his appreciation for each dish, starting with the steak, which he commends for being perfectly cooked. He notes the excellent combination of flavors with the sauce, emphasizing that he usually doesn't enjoy steak at restaurants, but the one prepared by the lady is exceptional. The lady smiles, and her husband proudly mentions her culinary skills. As the conversation shifts, Jin Hyuk-song inquires about someone's whereabouts, but the man redirects the focus by asking Romi to pass the tea to Jin Hyuk-song. Romi handed the tea cup to Jin Hyuk-song, but to his surprise, the tea's color resembles the substance he noticed on the floor earlier red. Romi explains that the tea is made from cornelian cherries. However, the little girl, named Yumi, starts laughing and remarks that it reminds her of human blood, sending a shiver down Jin Hyuk-song's spine. Romi instructs Yumi to be quiet, but Yumi responds by calling her a derogatory term, further infuriating Romi. Their father intervenes, urging both girls to be silent. He directs Yumi to apologize to Romi, stating that she is not a whore, and also asks Romi to apologize to Yumi. However, Romi hesitates as Yumi initiated the conflict. The father gives them both a stern look, leaving Romi and Jin Hyuk-song astonished. Romi eventually apologizes to her sister. Meanwhile, a guy named Minu checks the time on a clock and leaves. Concerned, Jin Hyuk-song inquires about his destination. The guy's mother responds, stating that he's going to work. Jin Hyuk-song asks the lady about the type of work Minu does, and she responds that he is a pig caretaker. She mentions that the steak they are eating is also from a pig, and Yumi, the little girl, slaughtered it herself. This revelation shocks Jin Hyuk-song, realizing that the young kid slaughtered a pig. The next morning, Jin Hyuk-song is washing dishes when the lady comes in, telling him that he doesn't need to do that. However, Jin Hyuk-song insists on helping to give her some time to rest. The lady is pleased and leaves the area. Suddenly, Jin Hyuk-song gazes at the knife and feels a moment of unease. Night falls, and Jin Hyuk-song finds himself lost in thought in his room. He reflects on the strange nature of the people around him and contemplates his current location. Memories resurface, particularly a dream he had about news at the shopkeeper's place. In the present, he retrieves a knife hidden under his pillow, explaining that it's the only way he can sleep peacefully. There's a knock on the door and someone seeks permission to enter. It's the lady, and she questions why he's awake at such a late hour. Jin Hyuk-song responds that he's about to sleep. The lady places her hands on his shoulders with an ominous expression and asks if he took the kitchen knife as it's missing. Jin Hyuk-song is taken aback, wondering how she could have known it was him. Despite his surprise, he denies any involvement. The lady reassures him, saying it's okay and that she knows he's not responsible. She speculates that Yumi might have taken the knife again, expressing frustration as she leaves the room. Apologizing to Jin Hyuk-song, she adds that all payments are on hold until his memory fully returns before exiting. Jin Hyuk-song is now feeling uneasy in this peculiar household. He notices the door lock has been completely removed, leaving him unable to secure his room. As night falls, Jin Hyuk-song attempts to sleep but finds it difficult. He reflects on the strange environment and questions how he's supposed to rest in such a place. Unable to find comfort in his bed, he moves to the window, contemplating how he can recover his memories to uncover his identity and location. The weight of past memories overwhelms Jin Hyuk-song as he absent-mindedly checks his mobile phone, though he refrains from turning it on. Frustrated, he tosses the device aside. Returning to the present, he notices Minyu with an unfamiliar person, piquing his curiosity. Clutching a knife, he stealthily exits his room, contemplating the stranger's identity. The absence of the person at the dinner table adds to Jin Hyuk-song's suspicions. As Jin Hyuk-song attempts to leave the house, he overhears individuals discussing his supposed involvement with the missing knife, prompting them to search for it the following day. Ignoring the chatter, Jin Hyuk-song departs. Meanwhile, Minyu converses with the unidentified person about plans for the morning before Minyu departs. The individual, unaware of Jin Hyuk-song's presence, curses Minyu as he leaves, labeling him a bastard. Seizing the opportunity, Jin Hyuk-song calls out to the person, causing them to startle in fear and hastily proclaim innocence, citing an impending work obligation. Taehyui Jin introduces himself, and when Jin Hyuk-song inquires about whether he resides in the same place, Taehyui Jin responds with an air of mystery, suggesting that Jin Hyuk-song may know him. Jin Hyuk-song, grappling with memory loss, expresses his lack of recollection regarding their previous encounters. Asking Taehyui about their location, Jin Hyuk-song is met with reluctance and a stern warning not to delve into such inquiries. Taehyui then recounts a night from the past where Jin Hyuk-song was pursued by someone in a mask. He describes Jin Hyuk-song seeking refuge in a house, only to be struck in the head with a shovel by the masked individual. Taehyui cryptically advises Jin Hyuk-song to prove his worth to those around them, leaving him bewildered. We transition to the next scene where the lady approaches Jin Hyuk-song holding a flickering lantern. With each step, she calls out to him, inquiring if he is asleep. Jin Hyuk-song, gripped by fear, remains motionless in his bed. Peering through the broken lock, the lady observes Jin Hyuk-song lying there and comments on how he manages to sleep under such circumstances before departing. Jin Hyuk-song, now perturbed, questions the seemingly endless night, tossing and turning in bed in an attempt to find sleep. To his surprise, hours slip by unnoticed. Gazing at the moon through the window, he ponders once more, questioning why the moon persists in the sky. The waves of past memories hit Jin Hyuk-song as he recalls a moment from his childhood, sitting alone on a swing, engrossed in his mobile phone when suddenly he loses his balance and falls. The morning arrives and Jin Hyuk-song is seated at the breakfast table. The man with glasses inquires about his night, noting that he looks tired. The lady chimes in, mentioning that he seems to have trouble sleeping in new places. Jin Hyuk-song dismisses their concern, saying there's no need to worry. The man persists, asking about Jin Hyuk-song's memories, but he responds that he hasn't regained them. Yumi playfully annoys her sister Romi, and the lady suggests that Jin Hyuk-song should rest more, clarifying that she's not a doctor but still offering the advice. Jin Hyuk-song expresses gratitude to everyone. Jin Hyuk-song is taken aback by the meal, which is entirely different from the one served the previous night. The lady inquires if he enjoyed the previous night's meal, and Jin Hyuk-song, surprised, asks if she prepared all of this herself. The entire family gives him an unsettling look, momentarily unsettling him. The man asks Jin Hyuk-song about a problem, to which he replies that he doesn't have a problem and was just asking. As everyone begins to pray, the lady interrupts, telling the man that if he has something to say, he can talk about it tomorrow. The man reaches for his shoes, only to find them dirty. Jin Hyuk-song isn't surprised because he took the man's shoes last night. The man becomes concerned, wondering if someone else used his shoes. Romi suggests that maybe Minyu took his shoes, as no one else would use them. Yumi taunts her brother, saying that he's in trouble. The dad asks Minyu about the shoes, emphasizing that he doesn't like lies. He gets closer to Minyu and questions him about the shoes. However, Jin Hyuk-song intervenes, shouting to stop the questioning. He confesses that it was him who used the shoes, explaining that he walked outside because he was bored. The entire family now looks at Jin Hyuk-song, who apologizes. The man asks if their house bored him, suggesting they need to entertain him, his eyes wide with suspicion. We transition to the next scene, where the man takes Jin Hyuk-song hunting. A shot rings out and a pigeon falls. The man explains that the others fled due to the noise. Reloading his gun, he aims at a pigeon, noting that the clueless ones are the stragglers. He takes the shot and the pigeon drops into the water. Handing his gun to Jin Hyuk-song, he encourages him to give it a try. Jin Hyuk-song hesitates, admitting that he's never used a gun before. The man inquires if he's scared, but Jin Hyuk-song responds that he doesn't understand the purpose of killing them when they're not planning to eat them. The man responded coldly, "Because you are bored." He then turned around, pointing his finger towards a bird, instructing Jin Hyuk-song to shoot that one. However, Jin Hyuk-song, instead of aiming at the bird, points the gun towards the man. Intrigued, the man asks for the reason behind pointing the gun at him. Jin Hyuk-song calmly replies, "Because I don't know why you're not answering my questions." The man, puzzled, inquires about the question, to which Jin Hyuk-song asks about their location, the disheveled man treated like a slave, and what the man is doing on this seemingly random island. The man snatches the gun, asserting that the island has no name. The person Jin Hyuk-song referred to as a slave is a valued employee, and Jin Hyuk-song is their guest. Curious about the man's intentions, Jin Hyuk-song inquires further. The man begins calculating the expenses, stating that a room costs $150 per night, meals are $11 each, and hunting is $30 per session. He questions Jin Hyuk-song's ability to pay and criticizes him for pointing a gun at his host. Taking matters into his own hands, the man grabs the weapon from Jin Hyuk-song and aims it back at him. A moment of fear sets in for Jin Hyuk-song, but the weapon fails to fire. The man casually explains that double-barrel shotguns don't need to be reloaded after every 2 shots. The man questions Jin Hyuk-song, asking if he believed he would offer a free hunting session. He scolds Jin Hyuk-song for not realizing the gun was empty and warns him against doing anything dangerous, shooting him an evil gaze. Jin Hyuk-song responds with a smile, acknowledging the man's point. As time passes, Jin Hyuk-song sits by the sea, contemplating the identity and motives of these people. The memories of his past weigh heavily on his mind, causing a headache. He notices a post nearby and approaches it. To his surprise, the end of the post is sharp like a pencil, a stark contrast from what he remembers in his past. He examines the post and questions whether it has always been like this. Jin Hyuk-song opened the post box and discovers a puzzle page inside. Curious, he wonders about its significance. Behind the puzzle page, the number 5 is written, leaving Jin Hyuk-song puzzled. He swiftly hides the page as Romi approaches him, inquiring about his day with her dad. Jin Hyuk-song simply comments, Your dad is quite intriguing." Romy smiles at his remark and invites him for a walk to chat further. Jin Hyuk-song questions Romy about her father's statement that the island has no name, to which she confirms. Jin Hyuk-song then asks if they are still in Korea. Romy playfully turns around and holds Jin Hyuk-song's face in a romantic manner, contemplating whether she should share more interesting details. Maintaining a Sigma demeanor, Jin Hyuk-song casually inquires about Romy's age. Romy responds, asserting her adulthood, and teasingly touches Jin Hyuk-song's face, stating that she's old enough to have some fun. She invites him to a fishing spot, mentioning that it usually costs $30 per session, but she suggests doing it for free. Jin Hyuk-song is puzzled, wondering if Romy is talking about actual fishing. She bursts into laughter, asking him what he expected from their conversation. Jin Hyuk-song admits he has no idea what she's talking about, and they playfully continue bantering. They are now sitting close to each other in a peaceful manner. Romy suggests that trying various activities might help Jin Hyuk-song regain his memories, all while casually peeling a lugworm, much to Jin Hyuk-song's disgust. Romy comments on how the lugworm is pretty gross, but he doesn't seem too bothered, stating that he's the one easily scared. In response, Jin Hyuk-song explains that he doesn't know who he is, and being with strangers makes him a bit scared. Feeling a bit uneasy, he questions if he said something wrong as Romy continues to gaze at him. Romy apologized to Jin Hyuk-song, acknowledging that her family isn't normal. Her father is extremely strict and religious, bringing them to the island because he disliked the city. Her mom is somewhat oblivious to the world, being somewhat narcissistic. Romy's older brother lives in his own world, and she expresses concern about her little sister and how she will turn out. Jin Hyuk-song responds, telling Romy that she seems quite critical of her family. Romy then shares more about her younger sister Yumi, who engages in nonsensical activities like killing bugs for fun. Jin Hyuk-song reflects on the innocence of children at Yumi's age, understanding that they often don't distinguish between right and wrong, leading them to engage in such activities. Romy becomes suspicious, wondering if Jin Hyuk-song is also like this. After a moment of contemplation, he responds that he doesn't remember. Romy expresses her surprise, mentioning that she hasn't met someone with amnesia before. She apologizes for her actions and assures him of her willingness to help. Jin Hyuk-song ponders their past interactions, considering if there was a misunderstanding between them. Suddenly, a fish is caught on the rod, and Romy tells Jin Hyuk-song to grab his rod. He shouts at Romy, questioning why she didn't instruct him on how to fish. Romy attempts to take the rod from him, but she slips and falls onto Jin Hyuk-song's chest. Concerned for Romy's well-being, Jin Hyuk-song asks about her health and suggests being more careful next time. Romy looks around to ensure no one is watching, then grabs Jin Hyuk-song's shoulder, leaning in closer to his mouth, expressing her desire to escape from the situation. Romy runs from the scene, leaving Jin Hyuk-song to ponder whether she also wants to escape from this place. He gazes towards the book, picks it up, and is surprised to find all the pages empty. As time shifts, Jin Hyuk-song heads towards the house with the book. On the way, he spots Minhu coming from the front, carrying a bag on his back and a grass cutter. Jin Hyuk-song apologized to Yooni for the morning incident, but Yooni didn't reply and left. Jin Hyuk-song called out to Yooni again, and when he turned around, he left without saying anything. Jin Hyuk-song wondered if he was being mistreated. He then went to the house, where past memories flooded back. Tae-jin had asked him to prove his worth. The man with glasses had inquired about the missing shoes, and Romy had expressed her desire to leave this place. Worried by the eerie atmosphere of the place, Jin Hyuk-song is suddenly approached by Minhu, who whispers in his right ear, expressing a desire to ask something. Startled, Jin Hyuk-song explains that he was about to return the book to Romy. Minhu, now in a sinister demeanor, questions Jin Hyuk-song about whether he killed Romy. Shocked by the accusation, Jin Hyuk-song vehemently denies any involvement in Romy's harm. However, Minyu, with eyes glowing ominously, threatens Jin Hyuk-song, claiming he intends to kill him. Jin Hyuk-song dashes towards the house gate, desperately attempting to open it, all the while shouting for help. Panicking, he questions Minyu, questioning whether he's a psychopath. In the midst of his fear, Yumi enters the scene and informs Minyu that she saw Romi doing a fashion show in her room. Minyu, surprised, realizes that Romi is not dead. Yumi then asks Jin Hyuk-song for the book, which she snatches from him. Opening the book, she tosses it aside, leaving Jin Hyuk-song bewildered by the unfolding events. Minyu suggests that I can assist with her work, emphasizing that Romi is her older sister and deserves respectful language. Jin Hyuk-song, astonished by the situation, wonders if Minyu has decided not to harm him. As Minyu starts to leave without an apology, Jin Hyuk-song stops both of them, enraged. He demands an apology for the unsettling events that have unfolded. Yumi questions Minyu if he did something wrong, and Minyu denies it. Jin Hyuk-song, frustrated, claims that Minyu tried to kill him. However, Minyu misunderstands, thinking Jin Hyuk-song killed Romi. Yumi lightens the situation by suggesting a reward for Jin Hyuk-song, and she slaps his brother butt. Jin Hyuk-song, irritated by the kid's humor, is still upset about the serious threat. Yumi urges Jin Hyuk-song to let the matter slide, explaining that Minyu only made a verbal threat. Minyu, however, asserts that he would genuinely harm Jin Hyuk-song if he harmed Romi. Yumi then queries Jin Hyuk-song if he genuinely intends to harm Romi, to which he replies no. Yumi concludes that the problem is resolved and both siblings leave the scene. Despite this, Jin Hyuk-song remains angry and demands an apology. Yumi turns back, approaches Jin Hyuk-song, and explains that her brother is not normal, trying to justify the confusion. Jin Hyuk-song exclaims that Minyu was trying to kill him, but Yumi dismisses it, claiming he's overreacting and calls him a wuss. Enraged by the term, Jin Hyuk-song pushes Yumi, causing her to fall. Yumi screams, drawing the attention of the lady in the house, who comes out to inquire about the commotion. Yumi explains that Jin Hyuk-song insulted Minyu, calling him retarded, and he called her a brat. Shocked, Jin Hyuk-song denies the accusations. The lady instructs Jin Hyuk-song to calm down, expressing that his loud voice frightened her. She advises him not to insult her children. Despite Jin Hyuk-song's attempts to explain, Yumi provides misinformation to her mother, resulting in the lady giving Jin Hyuk-song an evil gaze. The lady informs Jin Hyuk-song that they need to have a conversation. In the following scene, the lady and Jin Hyuk-song sit down for tea. Jin Hyuk-song attempts to explain the misunderstanding, but the lady brings up the topic of the kitchen knife. Denying any knowledge, Jin Hyuk-song is puzzled as the lady mentions finding the knife everywhere but not locating it. Jin Hyuk-song contemplates why the lady is suddenly questioning him about the knife. The lady, however, confidently asserts, "I know you took the knife."
If you like this video, please subscribe, leave a like and comment.